Kafka once said something I really love. He said, "A book must be the X for the frozen sea within us." And the Metamorphosis is exactly that kind of book. It doesn't politely entertain you, it doesn't comfort you, it smashes right through the surface of ordinary life and leaves you staring at truths you don't always want to see. Now, when people hear Metamorphosis, they think, oh, that's the story where the man turns into a giant insect. And yes, that's true, but honestly, that's the least important part of it. The real story is about you and me. Gregor Samsa wakes up one morning and his body has changed into a giant insect. But instead of screaming in horror, his first thought is, how am I going to get to walk? Let's pause there. Isn't that insane? And yet, isn't that exactly how many of us live? We carry so much weight from society, from family, from responsibilities that even if our life collapses, our mind doesn't immediately think about our pain. It thinks about our duty, our deadlines, our job. But here's something people often miss. Gregor is not the only one who transforms. His family does too. Because they are helpless. They rely on Gregor completely. But once he becomes unusable, they start to change. His father gets a job, his mother takes more responsibility, his sister matures. It's almost cruel, but Kafka is showing us a painful truth. Sometimes people only grow when they are forced to, and sometimes that growth comes at the cost of someone else's suffering. So, in a strange way, Gregor's metamorphosis frees his family, but it kills him. Of course, this is also Kafka writing about himself. He had a complicated relationship with his father, who was domineering and harsh. Kafka often felt crushed under his expectations, like Gregor under his father's case. He worked in insurance office, a job that despised to support himself, while his dream was always to write. So when you read Metamorphosis, you can almost hear Kafka whispering his own despair, his sense of invisibility, his guilt, his sickness. Nizak once wrote, "Man is the sick animal." Kafka takes that idea and puts it into a living, crawling image. Gregor dies quietly, almost forgotten. His family, instead of mourning deeply, feels relief. They start to plan their future without him. That's the part that hurts the most. But maybe it also feels familiar because society often does this. Once you stop fitting into the system, once you stop producing, you are replaced. So here's the haunting question Kafka leaves us with. If tomorrow I change into something unrecognizable, would people still see me as human? Kafka doesn't solve this. He doesn't wrap it up neatly. He leaves us with unease. And that's the brilliance of it. Because maybe literature isn't meant to always comfort us. Sometimes it's meant to disturb us, to crack the ice inside us so we feel something real. So when I think of the metamorphosis, I don't just see Gregor Samsa lying in that dark room. I see us, you, me, and all of us carrying invisible burdens, fearing invisibility, craving to be loved for who we are, not just what we give. And maybe that's the true metamorphosis we need. Not into an insect, but into human beings who learn to love without conditions.